which is a major flaw. All right, what up, squad? So we gotta talk about this PS5 DualSense Edge controller, because there's 5 reasons why I would not buy this controller here. Now, if you guys have been living under a rock and you don't know what I'm talking about, this here is the PS5 DualSense Edge controller. I did a video about it that you guys can check out, that I'll have down in the description section below. But basically, this is Sony's version and introduction into the pro controller space. So if you're one of those people out there and you need or you want that competitive edge in Call of Duty, then this might be the controller that you want to look out for. But like I said, there's 5 reasons why I would not buy this controller. Now, before we actually get into those 5 reasons why you guys should not buy this controller, I want to actually tell you guys about a group chat that I have set up where I share a lot of the raps that you guys hear here on the channel.
I got an edge on the gameplay, create my own style, I switch the paddles, that's the right way.
And I've pretty much been doing a lot of that more so in short form content, because I'm kind of like riding that wave right now instead of putting it in my long form videos that you guys watch right here, which if you guys want to see those, you can follow me over on TikTok, because that's where I'm posting a lot of those. But basically, I share a lot of the unreleased stuff here in the group chat before it's ever even published here on YouTube. And it's also where all of my giveaways are going to be announced. Anytime I'm dropping some new merch, some wallpaper packs that I'm planning on doing this year, and a bunch of other stuff, it's all going to be announced within the group chat. So in order for you guys to get in on this, all you got to do is text room 21 to the number that is right here on the screen, and you guys are in there. Now, if you guys are already part of it, and you part of that room 21 squad, go ahead and comment hashtag room 21 in the comments right now. All right, so we're going to start with number 5 with this controller, and we're going to work our way down to that number 1 spot. And I promise you, you don't want to miss number 2. So starting with number 5, I have to say is the price. Paying $200 for a single controller is kind of pricey in my opinion. Now, I do understand that it is competitive in pricing to something like Battle Beaver Pro controllers as well as Scuff controllers. But when you guys look at the fact that the entire PS5 console that's right here behind me is $500, it really puts it into perspective to me that paying $200 for one single controller is kind of a tough sell, especially when it comes to that battery life, which we're gonna touch on that as well here in a second. And when the normal controller is just $60. Now, I do have to mention in preference that my perspective when it comes to pricing is somebody who has that if I can find it for a deal like mentality. Basically what I'm saying, y'all, is I'm a frugal person. I'm not cheap, I'm just frugal. And you also got to keep in mind that this controller here is not all of a sudden gonna make you a better player. Now, if you suck with the original controller, most likely you're gonna still be terrible with this controller right here. And is $200 still worth you losing that game? Like, to me, I don't think so. All right, so number 4 is not being able to store more than 3 custom profiles on the controller in itself. Now, do you have the ability to create up to 30 profiles per your PSN account? And then you can swap them out and do all of that with your custom 3 slots that you have? Yes, you can do that. But to me, I wish you could still access them natively on the controller as well within the settings. But this controller right here can only store up to 3. And y'all already know, if you playing a bunch of games, 3 is just not enough. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know that you could create 30 until a couple of you guys out there, you pointed it out to me in my previous video. So shout out to y'all for doing that. But for the person who's picking this up and they don't know that much, Sony really didn't spell it out to you that this is a feature. So it's there, but it's like a hidden feature. And the fact that I have to go to my online account and to do all of that, and it's not like in the system, it's just not something that I do. But it just would be nice if there was a way that they could add it to the controller and I can access all 30 somehow to quickly be able to switch between them. But Sony, like, just give us all 30 slots right within the custom settings on the menu. It just would be, I feel like it'd just be a whole lot easier. All right, so number 3 is only having 2 paddles instead of 4. Now, to me, this really wasn't a major issue, as I personally like only having 2 paddles. It makes it just way less complicated to have to deal with. But some of the complaints that I'm seeing out there, and I'm seeing from other pro controller users, is that they would have actually preferred there be 4 paddles here instead of only having 2 in the back here. And honestly, I can see why this would be a major issue, because when you guys are actually setting up a pro controller, the whole point of having the paddles is so that way you can maneuver functions that doesn't really require you to take your fingers off of the joysticks, which is why these controllers give you that competitive edge when you guys are playing games like Call of Duty and all of that. And it's also the reason why you're paying $200+ in the first place for it. So I would like to see Sony, 1, create a pro controller that has multiple colors for 1, and 2, for it to have 4 paddles instead of 2 that are also all swappable as well. But like I said, it didn't really bother me too much because I actually prefer the 2, but I can see for some of those out there who like to use the 4, why that should be an option that's on here. All right, y'all, so number 2, we gotta talk about it, and that is the battery life. I told y'all to wait for it, and it's here. Now, only being able to get 4.5 hours to me when you guys are in the thick of gaming, in the trenches and all of that, to me is not good. Now, like I mentioned in my previous video, which you guys can check that out right up here, as well as I'll have it down in the description section below on what I had to say more about the battery life. But basically, I said on one end, 4 hours is enough when you consider all of the crazy features and functions that you get with this controller. And on the other end, it's like 4 hours is just not enough when you want to game for more than 4 hours, which is something people typically do. Now, I do understand that Sony gave us the extra extended long cable, which is cool because you can just plug it right in and you still won't feel like you're sitting close to the TV. So Sony, in the next go round, let's work on increasing the battery life in these controllers, especially, and I keep coming back to it, and that's the price point. We talking $200, which is a lot of freaking money if you ask me for one single controller, especially when I paid $500 for the console. And number 1 is the main reason that I would personally not buy this PS5 DualSense Edge controller, and that is the swappable joysticks, which is a major, major flaw. And I think it's something that you guys should be aware of before buying it. Now, don't get me wrong. I do love the fact that they did this. They gave us the option to be able to swap this out. But I also want to tell you guys why I hate it, because it basically Sony saying, I know our controllers have a huge flaw in it when it comes to controller drifting, and no, we're not going to fix it. But instead, they give us an option to be able to swap out the joysticks, and then they're going to charge us $20, which is just crazy to me. So instead of just fixing the issue, you're going to continue profiting from your own mistake, but disguising it as if it was giving us a solution to a problem that you created. See, Sony, I got to be honest with you. Like, I rock with y'all because I got Sony camera that I'm filming this video on. I got the PlayStation. I got 2 other Sony cameras and a bunch of all of that. But I got to call y'all out when I see it. And to me, this is something that y'all need to fix. And my thing is, I feel like you had plenty of time to fix this issue when creating this Pro controller. But instead, you just like re-release the issue and attach a $200 price tag to it along with a $20 price tag to replace them. I see what you did, and to be honest, you ain't slick. But I hope you guys found value in this video right here. And if you did, go ahead and click on that subscribe button, because I want you guys to be informed when you're deciding and thinking about buying this controller right here, because the purpose of this video was not to bash Sony, it's not to bash this controller, but I want to call out some of the shortcomings when it comes to this product right here and hold Sony accountable for it. So that way, in the next iteration, they can actually get it right and give us the best product possible. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of good things that I talk about when it comes to this controller that you guys can check out in this video right here.
I got an edge on the gameplay, create my own style. I switch the paddles, that's the right way. Braided with the cables, not worried if it's split or fray. Trackpad custom